Hello Internet. Today I will be reviewing Midnight Fight Express. It's a brawler game developed by Jacob Zvinol. I'm sorry about the pronunciation there. And it's published by Humble Games. It's available on PlayStation 4 and 5, Steam and Xbox Series S and X. It costs $20 or euros or pounds or whatever currency you're using. You can also get this game on Game Pass. So this is an indie game developed by one man and this is his first game, I believe. Before you begin, you can choose your difficulty level between normal, hard and realistic, or you can customize every aspect of the difficulty. This includes selecting things such as character health, enemy aggression level, focus capability, enemy attack indicators, and rechargeable health. I played on normal, so the lowest, easiest level, and let me tell you, I got my ass kicked most of the time. It's worth saying that this is really not my type of game, and I suck at these kind of games most of the time. You play as Babyface, a mysterious John Wick-like badass, and find yourself handcuffed on a chair with two cops in an interrogation room. After some talking, you wake in a room and it seems you have no idea what's going on. Watching the news, you find out that the city is enduring an all-out attack by criminals of all sorts, and it seems they want to take over the entire city. Soon you are delivered a package and here your companion by the name of Droney is introduced. Shortly thereafter you get a taste of combat for the first time. This part serves as a tutorial. You are taught the ancient art of punching and blocking. After the first mission, the hideout is introduced. Here you can buy new skills, buy apparel for your character and drone, and you can visit the playground in which you can set all kinds of parameters and then practice fighting. It also displays info on levels, such as enemy types, existing challenges, but first you must complete the level to unlock these challenges. And completing these challenges award you all kinds of apparel. As the game progresses, you are taught how to parry and dodge, as well as how to use different weapons and tools. All in all, the combat is not overly complex, but definitely not too simple either, and I found it very enjoyable, especially later on once you begin unlocking skills and tools and when more weapons are usable. Speaking of weapons, there is an astonishing amount, truly. There are melee weapons such as swords, knives, beer bottles, batons, bats, pipes, crowbars, various tools like wrenches, jackhammers, paint rollers, to name a few, and the list goes on and on. Also, there is a tremendous amount of firearms, all kinds of pistols, assault rifles, snipers, grenade launchers, shotguns, crossbows, and many, many more. The sheer amount and variety of weapons to butcher through scores of enemies is really praiseworthy. Not to mention the abundance of one-use weapons from the environment that you can kick and throw at your enemies. These include all kinds of furniture and things you can get your hands on, anything that's in your reach basically. Now on to the enemies. These are no exception. Hardly a level goes by in which no new enemy type or faction is not introduced. There are your first enemies called bozos. Then there are rival gangs, one of which use bro and the other use bra. Then there are S&M enemies. Then there are corrupt cops, SWAT, special forces, ninjas. There are even game devs as an enemy faction in one level. Yeah, you heard that right, game devs. You might find my listing of enemies and weapon types as boring and a lack of proper expression. Okay, fair point. But I'm just trying to convey how much variety there is throughout the entire game. On to the levels. The levels are strictly linear. Do not expect any deviation from the set path on the levels. I must say that I do not at all hold it against this game, especially considering the type of this game. You know, not everything has to be a 300-hour open world Ubisoft type slog. As far as the look of the levels go, most are atmospheric and convey a great immersive feeling combined with the music and the appropriate enemy types. I've found a few who are average and nothing special, but I cannot remember a level that I hated. One thing I absolutely must mention is the sense of humor that this developer has. There is an entire level that is placed in a game dev studio, for example. In it, there is a scene that takes a jab at AAA developers. All throughout the game, I found myself smiling. There are references to some memes and a famous level from a certain game. A true gamer, this developer. If you play this game, you will most certainly wear a smile on your face throughout most of the game, what with all the references and puns. I know I did. A key part of this game is the music also. It's amazing. It gets you really pumped and in the mood to play out all of your John Wick fantasies. That's about all I am capable of saying about the music. Next, I want to talk a bit about the graphics and overall stability of the game. The graphics are pretty typical for a lot of indie games. They are good enough in my opinion and they just somehow fit the game. As far as stability goes, I had a very stable experience, no stutters and no crashes at all. When it comes to bugs, I had a few visual ones which I found to be pretty funny and they did not bother me at all. However, I had instances where I performed a finisher on stunned enemies, and since this was done in tight spaces, I ended up on the other side of the game level and died as a consequence. This did not happen often. I will now talk about some of the flaws. First of all, I seem to have noticed that some of the commands seem a bit laggy, seem a bit slow to respond, especially when you try to pick up a weapon. In the footage you will see in this review, you will see me constantly picking up and then immediately dropping weapons. That is because oftentimes when the pickup icon shows up and I try to pick the weapon up, it often does not register it. First, I thought it was my controller, so I switched to another and no, it's not the controller. Sometimes the command is not registered and other times it is. So when I frustratingly press the button twice, it sometimes picks up the weapon and then immediately drops it. This was the most annoying thing in the game for me. Another thing is some parts of the game are poorly designed or a tad bit unfair. Like I mentioned, I got my ass kicked throughout most of the game because I suck at these types of games. But sometimes the game is just unfair or poorly designed. Also, there is no lock-on in this game. When you fire a weapon at enemies, the game snaps automatically to an enemy. In certain cases, precision is key, so this works against the game. Two examples. The fight with the bikers where a guy on a bike tries to run you over. It's very difficult to evade it as it can make these impossible turns, and if he hits you he even interrupts your finishers, so you are kind of discouraged from using this very necessary and cool part of the gameplay. If you kill the guy on the bike, another appears a few seconds after. Meanwhile, you are peppered from all sides by gunfire. Another example, and a better one, is the Scorpion Queen boss fight. In this fight you are running away from a boss driving basically a meat grinder on wheels. Occasionally you come upon explosive barrels which you can chuck at the vehicle to damage it. However, the best way is to take weapons from the boss minions that appear and fire at the boss. You can imagine how frustrating this was considering the thing with the weapon pickup I mentioned before. Furthermore, when the boss is down to low health, she speeds up and you cannot outrun it. When this happened, I never had any weapons on me, so I died. I was very confused as to how to defeat the boss. I did this fight more than 15 times before lucking out and having a weapon when the boss was down to low health. Also, the fact that you cannot pick your targets because of the lack of a manual lock-on I mentioned previously is detrimental to this boss fight, since it's pretty important prioritizing targets with guns throughout the whole game, and especially in this fight. Now, a bit about the story. I was honestly surprised with the amount of attention this component of the game was given the type of the game and the fact that this is an indie title. Don't get me wrong, the story is nothing special or amazing. It has some pretty predictable twists, but it does enough to offer you something beside combat to get your attention and interest. Overall, I got a bit more than I expected in this department. Once you see the credits roll, you might want to go through levels on a different difficulty or try to complete challenges to earn different skins and apparel for you and your drone. All things considered, this game is good. I felt like a badass most of the time, even though I suck at these types of games. The variety of enemies, weapon levels and combat animations is stunning. The music is awesome. The sheer amount of content and replayability is impressive, especially if you like this kind of games. The segments that are frustrating due to some poor design choices and unresponsiveness of certain commands do not succeed in overshadowing the good parts of the game. It doesn't even come close to doing it in fact. This, coupled with the very affordable price, makes this game good. I give Midnight Fight Express an 8 out of 10. Okay, thank you guys for watching this review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumb it down. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of this game? Do you agree with my opinion? Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.